Before we start, I want to blow everybody's ears. I want to have a moment of silence for former Sheriff Steve McGarry, who passed away. Madam Clerk, you want to do the roll?
Yes. Supervisor Bredefield. Supervisor Chavez.
Here.
Supervisor Magzig. Here. Supervisor Pacheco. Here. Chairman Mendez.
Here.
All present. Thank you.
Okay, welcome to the September 23rd meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We'll begin with the invocation and flag salute. The invocation will be led by District 2. After the invocation, remain standing for the flag salute.
This morning, Chairman, we have Pastor Jim Franklin, the senior pastor of Cornerstone Church in downtown Fresno since 1993. Under his leadership, the church has grown to over 2,000 attendees with a strong focus on outreach and community engagement. With over 50 ministries and a motto of bringing our city back to God, Pastor Franklin is widely recognized for his civic engagement and dedicated to addressing local issues through compassionate, gospel-centered leadership, and very glad to have Pastor Franklin here.
I was 6 years old when I came 34 years ago, just to let you know that. Let's stand. Heavenly Father, our heart is heavy today with the passing of Sheriff McGarry, and we lift up his family to you now, Lord God. Your comfort and your peace in this time, Father. Thank you for the leadership that he has provided in so many ways for this county, for this state. So again, we pray for his family and lift them up to you right now. Now, God, we pray for the members of the Board of Supervisors, that you'll grant them wisdom and counsel in all the decisions that they'll make today. God, we thank you for the rain that you sent to us recently that helped to stop the fires. We thank you for that, Lord God. We give you praise now in Christ's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agendas are in the back of the table for anyone wanting to follow along. Madam Clerk.
Item number 1, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Item 9 from your regular agenda is being continued to October 21st. Item 9 is continued to October 21st, and there's a correction to items 21 through 25 where it says, where it reflects County Information Officer, it should read County Administrative Officer. Everything else is correct.
Okay, well, does anybody want to make a motion to? Okay. Second. All in favor, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. We'll move to consent items.
Item number 2, approve consent agenda item numbers 26 through 53.
Okay, does anyone on the board want to take anything off consent? You got 2, I think Levine Acts.
Yeah, so yeah, for the Levine Act, I need to pull 37, 46, and 49.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I'm on item 49 as well.
okay. Do you know if we'll need to draw straws or?
We don't need to draw straws, but if I may have a moment with Supervisor Bredefield.
No, I just want to pull item 43 for discussion.
Okay. All righty. Is there anyone in the public that wants to pull an item off consent?
Number 27, please.
27.
Okay. Do I have a motion to
I'll
approve
move
the
for
rest?
approval of the remainder.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, so by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried.
We now move to item number 3. Under the Board of Supervisors, presentation of retirement plaque to Michael Sill, Department Sheriff, 31 years of service.
I'll show you. 49. Have you received a contribution from
They look busy.
Adjourn?
No,
Scott Miller and Chuck Riojas.
Scott, no, I got it from the chamber.
Chamber.
Yeah, that would be him.
He's the head of the chamber.
Nathan, they're waiting for you, buddy.
Oh, okay.
He's dropped the whole train here.
And the world's problems have been solved. Chairman Mendez, members of the Board of Supervisors, we're here today to celebrate the retirement of Deputy Mike Sill and to recognize him for his service to the County of Fresno. In some ways, it is ironic that we are here today presenting this plaque to him, as he was a founding member of the Fresno County Sheriff's Office Air Support Unit as part of the initial program started by Sheriff Megarian with the two helicopters, Eagle 1 and Eagle 2. And Mike was selected to this position started in 1997, and just finishing up here today with this plaque shows his dedication and service to the Fresno County Sheriff's Office. And just for Sheriff Megarian and what he brought to the table and his memory of that program is still in existence today, 30 years later. So with that, I'll get to the brass tacks of the information here. I hope it's all correct. Deputy Mike Sill began his service with the Fresno County Sheriff's Office in 1992 as a reserve deputy. He was assigned to the boating enforcement unit. In 1994, he was hired full-time and served in patrol. He worked every corner of Fresno County. From the beginning, Mike Sill demonstrated a strong passion for aviation, having already earned his pilot's license before the Sheriff's Office Air Support Unit was even created in 1997. When the Air Support Unit was established, Deputy Mike Sill was chosen as a charter member and began as an observer. His extensive knowledge of Fresno County's communities, lakes, backcountry trails made him an exceptional asset to deputies on the ground. His keen awareness and familiarity with the outdoors allowed him to play a crucial role in locating lost and injured hikers and supporting search and rescue members. Driven to expand his skills, Deputy Sill wanted to earn his commercial helicopter pilot certificate, allowing him to serve as both a pilot and an observer, an invaluable resource to the Sheriff's Office. In 2001, when the agency added a fixed-wing airplane to its fleet, he once again rose to the challenge, earning his commercial airplane rating so he could fly every aircraft operated by the Sheriff's Air Fleet. Over his 28 years in the Air Support Unit, Deputy Sill received numerous life-saving awards, commendations, and community honors for his dedication and bravery, often risking his own life to protect others. The highlight of these honors came just a few months ago, when he was presented with the prestigious National Lifetime Achievement Award from the Airborne Public Safety Association. Known for his calm demeanor and steady judgment, Deputy Sill quickly became the go-to person for every difficult mission. When he said a mission could not be flown safely, everyone knew it could not be done safely by anyone. By the time of his retirement, Deputy Mike Sill had logged over 10,000 hours of helicopter flight time. His expertise, however, will live on through the next generation of pilots in the Air Support Unit that he mentored, instilling not only the fundamentals of flying, but also the lasting commitment to service above self. Today, Deputy Sill retires from the Sheriff's Office as a dedicated employee, but remains a steadfast friend to all who had the privilege of serving with him. We wish him a long and fulfilling retirement alongside his wife, Lisa, and the joy of pursuing his passion for restoring classic cars. It should be noted that Mike Sill did some things with the helicopter. If you've seen the videos or you've been on the ground watching him, things that you probably didn't think could be done, except if you watched that TV show that he's very fond of, Airwolf. But no, he did some incredible things, and watching him from the ground, being on a search and rescue at a time when he was in the unit, and the things that he did, and I didn't realize, the helicopter could bank quite like that. But he did some incredible things with rescues and things like that in some very tight situations on the Rocky Kings River Gorge, going down to rescue someone when there was probably less than feet, maybe just a few inches where the rotors couldn't, touch the sides of the canyon. And he was able to accomplish those feats, and truly an asset and will be missed here, not just by the Air Support Unit, but by all the members of the Sheriff's Office and our residents of Fresno County. And with that, I will turn it over to Mike Sill.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Ooh, that's a lot of good stuff. Appreciate it. First and foremost, appreciate you having me here today. Since the inception of the Air Support Unit, this board has been, to my knowledge, an absolute asset in making everything I did possible. When parts were needed, when people were needed to be hired, when aircraft were obtained, this board had a large part in making that happen. And for that, I want to extend my thanks and gratitude to the board as a whole. I know there was different members over the years that came through here, but the fact that everything that I dealt with was made possible, or you guys had a hand in it, I truly appreciate, and I just want to thank you very much.
Okay. Comments from the board? Go ahead.
So I've got a couple of quick stories. I can remember when I first took office in 2017, and there were a couple of cars that went in the Upper Kings River, and there was a search that took place for a while, and I wanted to go up and see it. So I went up with Sheriff Mims and then had an opportunity to go up with you. And I echo all the sentiment from Sheriff Zanoni about your capabilities and just how, when you get into tight areas, how winds can affect the aircraft differently. You are definitely a skilled pilot. And then during the Creek Fire, I had an opportunity to go up several times with you to take a look at that burn scar. I appreciate that. And more recently, about a month or so before you retired, had an opportunity to go up, and you showed me different parts of the county. And while I will miss your skill, I'll miss your friendship even more, but I know that you're going to remain here in the county, so that that warms my heart. But with your retirement, it's difficult to replace you. I know that there are still several people who fly the aircraft that we have who are very skilled, but I don't think there's anyone that we have that's close to 10,000 hours in the helicopter. So you will be missed. You were a tremendous asset to the Sheriff's Department, and you'll always be part of the Fresno County family. So thank you for your service.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Brian?
Yeah, I would just say while Supervisor Mendes and I, when we were elected, we had the privilege of going up to, not nearly as often as Supervisor Magsig, but the one time was a great experience. Well worthwhile. Appreciate your skill level and all of your dedication that you've done for the county. And we did have the great fortune, Supervisor Mendes and I, of being part of the funding for the newest fleet, the newest helicopter in there, and very proud to continue the tradition that was started by Sheriff McGarrion.
Thank you very much.
You got it?
Well,
Yeah.
I just want to say congratulations for all the great work. And, I'm somebody who's a private pilot and have great respect for helicopter pilots. I've flown in them. And I don't still quite understand how they stay up there, but they do. And hearing all the great skill and all that you've given to the county is a tremendous accomplishment. And I, for one, congratulate you, wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
And Mike, thank you so much. Like Brian said, we were up. I went up a couple of times observing the Kings River during flood season. And I mean, your piloting skills are tremendous. I mean, it was a pleasure to be up there with you. And I'm sad you're retiring, but, it's sometimes when you retire, you're kind of like Joe DiMaggio. You're great when you retired, so you'll always be remembered as being great. So
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
do you want to go ahead and come up?
Sure.
Well, I guess I have to ask, does anybody in the public want to make any comment about Mike? Hearing none, go ahead and come up.
You buzzed up close over their house.
Watching them come in. There's a lot of them.
We now move to item number 4 under Supervisor Bredefield, approve a resolution for the 26th Annual Central Valley Walk and Roll to Cure Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis event.
Yes, the board, come on up, Tammy. The board is taking this opportunity to recognize the 26th Annual Central Valley Walk and Roll to Cure ALS, known by many as Lou Gehrig's disease. Here today to receive the recognition on behalf of the organization is Tammy Galt, Director of ALS Network and Advisory Board Member, and Laura Miller. Welcome to the board, and please say a few words.
I would. Thank you so much for doing this. We do appreciate the awareness that this brings to Fresno County about what ALS is, and the funds that we have raised through our Central Valley Walk helps with advocacy, research, and our care services. We do provide care services to our ALS patients in the Fresno County and beyond, and to their families free of charge. We have clinics that they go to. We have our care managers help with insurances. They help with support groups. We have a loan equipment program. So if a patient is in need of any type of equipment, we're able to be there and provide that equipment for them before insurance kicks in. So thank you so much for doing this. And the awareness is key to get people out there and be aware of what is going on. And we appreciate it very much. You want to say anything?
Thank you for having us here. This is quite an honor. I am currently serving on the ALS Network board this year, which was a great honor for me. I actually have ALS, you probably tell, diagnosed in November 2020. And right off the bat, my neurologist connected me with the ALS Network, and they are family to me. I'm honored to serve and help guide with the research efforts as well as the care, and awareness is huge, as Tammy said, and this opportunity before you today really helps in that effort. Thank you.
Okay, any comments from the board? Is there any, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah.
You still-
I would just say yes. We all know that this is a very challenging disease. There's no cure yet for it. I've had some patients who've had ALS, and it's very difficult for the patient and family. And it's these groups that Tammy runs that provide support, which are critical to helping people with these very difficult diseases such as ALS. And so we're grateful to them, and wish you the very, very best, and all those who struggle with this illness.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on this? Hearing none? Somebody?
Make a motion to approve?
Okay, second. All in favor is going to say an aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Go ahead and come up.
There you go. Thank you. Tammy. See you well.
We now move to item number 5 under Supervisor Magsick, adopt resolution opposing Proposition 50.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I brought this resolution forward today. It's no secret that we have an election coming up in November. The legislature has Proposition 50, which is going before the voters, and I wanted to bring this before our board so we can have an opportunity to debate, if necessary, opposing this particular measure. Right off the bat, I'll tell you concerns that I have. This measure, if passed, would take Fresno County from having 4 congressional representatives to 6. I can make an argument that really Fresno County should have no more than 2, because each congressional representative has about 750,000 people that they represent. So it basically just dissects Fresno County into little bits. And there would even be representatives that would represent the west side of Fresno County that actually would be from the Bay Area, which I don't think we have a whole lot in common with the Bay Area. City of Clovis would go from 1 representative to 3. And again, it slices and dices the Central Valley, but Prop 50 really impacts Fresno County very negatively. In addition to this measure costing the taxpayers of California about $250 million, it reduces our representation by taking those individuals who really understand the valley and placing our representation in the hands of people who are in the Bay Area and outside of the Central Valley. So I've got grave concerns and wanted to bring it before all of you today. Happy to answer any questions.
Any other comments? Board?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. I usually reserve my comments for these kind of items outside, but it was brought here for discussion. And I just want to make sure that we're clear how we arrived here. A couple of months ago, President Trump called Governor Abbott in Texas and asked him to get him 5 more seats. 5 more seats. So the gerrymandering, I call it the gerrymandering standoff began, which then sucked in California, which we now have to ask this question to our voters. But I do want to make a couple of points because I think this is a conversation that is being focused on California, but it's more of a national conversation with regards to 1, representation, but 2, for California to get its fair share. We've had the last couple of months now where our president has held ransom hundreds of billions of dollars. We've had many challenges with immigration. We've had a lot of issues with tariffs. And I paint that picture because I think that's what happens when we have a one-party rule. And I say one-party rule not just nationally, but locally. I've never thought that that's a good thing for democracy. That's a good thing for our constituents. To the point of Supervisor Magzig, we've had representation here from folks from various different parts of the valley. I don't think that will be a problem. Myself, Supervisor Bredefeld, Supervisor Magzig all represent Clovis. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing when you have additional representatives advocating for their communities. And so I paint that picture to all that to say that I do think that this would be a good thing for checks and balances for our national sentiment and politics that are going on. I do have concerns, obviously, with what's going on in other states as well. But I do think that we should never, ever be afraid to ask our residents to chime in and exercise their constitutional right of voting. And that's what this does. It's asking our residents to actually take a position and vote. If they want it, this will pass. If they don't, we'll go back to doing what we want. So for that reason, I will not be supporting this. Supervisor Magzig, I think we should let our residents vote and weigh in. Thank you.
You want to talk?
Other than to say I'm in full support of this.
Yeah,
So-
thank you. Is there any public comment on item 5? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Only thing I'm going to tell you, Luis, is if you look at the Texas map before and after, parts of Austin before were in the same congressional district as San Antonio. And if you look at the actual map, they squared a lot of things off. Just saying.
5 less Democrats.
Maybe it was gerrymandered the other way.
Maybe it was.
Yeah. Okay, I got a
Mr. Chairman, I would just ask if there's no public comment. I don't believe what's happening in Texas is right. I don't believe what California is doing is right. So I would be of the opinion 2 wrongs don't make a right. I'm all in favor, as the supervisor said, let the people vote. I'm not inclined to take a position either way. I think the people should decide. It was done through the legislative process, signed by the governor. So again, it's the people can say, and I don't have a position on this item.
Okay, you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that Fresno County adopts a resolution opposing Proposition 50.
Second.
Okay, you can do a roll call.
Supervisor Magzig,
Aye.
Supervisor Bredfield,
Yes.
Supervisor Chavez,
No.
Supervisor Pacheco,
I'm going to abstain.
abstain, and Chairman Mendez.
Aye.
Motion passes with Supervisor Chavez voting no and Supervisor Pacheco abstaining. We now move to the items pulled from this morning's consent calendar. First item pulled by member of the public under Supervisor Bredefield, item 27, adjourn in memory of Charlie Kirk, founder and president of Turning Point USA, a nonprofit organization with a mission to identify, educate, organize, and empower young people to promote the principles of fiscal responsibility, free markets, and limited government.
Any comments from the board, or you want me to go to public? Okay, is there any public comment? This is 27. Is there any other? If you're going to comment, please stand up. If you can't stand up, please let me know now. Okay, go ahead and start.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Hernan Trevino, and I'm a Fresno County resident. Today, you will vote on whether to adjourn in honor of Charlie Kirk. I don't think this is just about remembering a man who passed away. I think it's about validating his legacy, a legacy built on rhetoric that harmed people of color, women, transgender youth, and even the very idea of empathy. How he died does not redeem how he lived, nor does it obligate us to celebrate or legitimize his words. Now, I want to share just a few direct quotes from Charlie Kirk. About Black women leaders, Kirk said, "You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken very seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to be taken somewhat seriously." On religion, he declared, "Large dedicated Islamic areas are a threat to America. Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America." On gender-affirming care, he called for a Nuremberg-style trial for every gender-affirming clinic doctor. On women and feminism, reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge. On gun violence, ironically, it's worth it to have some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment. That is a prudent deal. And even on basic human values, I can't stand empathy. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. Yet here sits the board with a proposal to declare that Fresno County sympathizes for Charlie Kirk. Kirk's statements were not just slips of the tongue. They were a pattern of words that encouraged division, amplified Islamophobia, perpetuated racial stereotypes, and dismissed the accomplishments and dignity of others. To honor this man is to normalize and endorse his message. I urge you to vote no and to not sign the certificate. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. Stan Santos. I'm a lifelong resident, and my father, Esteban Santos, was a sergeant in World War II. He commanded a crew with a 155 millimeter howitzer, men comprised of individuals mostly from Mexico who spoke Spanish in a segregated unit, and who fought from D-Day +3 through the Ardennes Forest, the Battle of the Bulge, all the way to Germany. But I'm here to speak today of the Charlie Kirk and the individual and how he spoke of immigrants, agreeing with the notion that Haitian immigrants were eating pets, that this is a Christian state. He'd like to see it stay that way, and that Christ is king, and supporting the January 6, 2021 mobilization in the U.S. Capitol. Those are very disturbing facts, but also the fact that much of the video regarding his debates I would characterize as punching down if you were to look at the way he humiliates some of those young students. But on the other hand, there's another issue that evolved in recent months, which was his position on Israel. As we know, there's an ongoing genocide there, and he even questioned how that could have happened, whatever happened on October 7th, based on the surveillance state which existed and the fact that you cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15. So I believe that his position was evolving, and I would rather put it into an example where we would see how Saul, on the road to Damascus, was struck down, and supposedly Christ told him, "Why are you persecuting my disciples?" And he was blinded. He was taken to Damascus, where he was cured by one of the disciples. And from that point on, Saul became Paul, and he led the church. And I believe they call that the Damascus moment. And the unfortunate thing now with the death of this very young man, 31 years old, is that he may have been on the verge of his Damascus moment, but we'll never know that because an assassin's bullet struck him down. I think that's a horrible tragedy, and I believe we should at least remember that part of history, and that God was not done with him, and I think he may have been an evolving individual, and he may have changed his position on a lot of these things. And so that's an example of why we should always look at people's humanity, both our opposition and the people that are inflicting violence on us, and those that would hurt history and what they're doing to the Palestinian people at this time is unconscionable, and we should be supporting an arms embargo. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Charlie Kirk was lost and highly misinformed, and the dangerous rhetoric that he spewed fell upon ears that also decide to think that way. And it's really sad that there's a lot of people that need to suffer because of this dangerous rhetoric. I don't think that we should be honoring him in any sort of way. People who are dangerous like that in a free speech society are very dangerous. They're very violent. He's violent. He was violent. He was violent with his words, and he was filled with hate. And I absolutely oppose this. And I hope that you guys can reflect on what is right or wrong, what's humanity, what is communal, all of those things. Think about what's the right and wrong, and how wrong it was for him to not only teach people the things that he was thinking, but for those people to probably become just as violent as him.
Hi, this is hard to speak right now. My name is Cindy Fukuyama. All of the people who have just spoken, Charlie would be cheering them on. He would give them a mic, and he would allow them to speak because he did really, really epitomize free speech. They didn't agree with him, I get that. But he would hand them the mic if he was here right now. And the reason they got to speak, I mean, it's their choice. They have freedom of speech. I will say some of the comments made by the first speaker were very inaccurate because they were cherry-picked quotes from his debates. And if you go online and watch those actual debates, the whole thing, not just the cherry-picked quotes, you will see what he said about empathy and what he said about how he preferred sympathy. And he just always expressed his opinion. I really encourage you to go online and research his full comments. I am in support of Prop 50, and mainly because, I'm in support of this initiative because the reality is we have to stand on both sides to be against political violence. Nobody should be killed for their beliefs on either side. Thank you.
Hi, I want to come here because to share another perspective that I feel is significant to the county, regardless of perspective on this. This week, I learned that the community can request the board to adjourn in the memory of a Fresno County resident that made a difference in the community. I spent time looking over the last 10 years of agendas of adjournments in memory that have been on the legislature. I reviewed these and I learned a lot about my community. It was really beautiful, and I really appreciate that learning experience. People that I knew and people I didn't know. People where I looked up their names because I didn't see contacts and then learned things about them. I noticed that it overlooks, unless I overlooked someone, there hasn't been an adjournment in the memory of someone who didn't live or serve as a representative of Fresno County in the last 10 years. I believe that this is because the focus of the board is on our community. Item 27 is questionable in this respect, as well as other issues. The reason behind this item is questionable as well. The reasoning to have this here, considering the lack of other non-Fresno County individuals receiving the same treatment. And as you yourselves may join in memorial for someone you wish to honor, note that Charlie Kirk's death was an unacceptable act of gun violence by individual, but note that there were other such tragedies that occurred outside Fresno, including governmental leaders this year. There are reasons, as some have stated, the community members would not want Fresno County as an official government agency to represent itself in this way, even if this is ceremonial, because of the harm that they've expressed that he has done. His work was harmful to members of the community, dehumanizing ways that he spoke and engaged policy around immigrants and women, LGBTQ individuals, people of color, and the context in which a lot of those quotes in does not change that, as well as putting, regarding free speech, creating a professor watch list in which instructors that had different political views names were put on, which result in harassment and issues of threats, to name a few issues, which should not be acceptable to the board. However, regardless, while I understand that there may be disagreement on these things with those in the board, the question still stands: the validity of taking action that has been focused on those who is normally reserved for those who've served in Fresno County as a resident or representative. The only one I know of that didn't live in Fresno so far in the last 10 years was George House II, who lived in Modesto but served as assemblyman for Fresno County, and to advise you against the misdirection away from focusing on Fresno County as a board. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that ends the public portion of this. Do you want to say anything, or Gary?
I'll let Nathan and then I'll go.
So this is a ceremonial item. I will say that I was able to watch the event on Sunday, the memorial for Charlie Kirk, and last I saw there were 100 million people that tuned in to watch that ceremony, and it was a ceremony where Charlie Kirk's wife forgave the shooter. It was a ceremony where violence was not being called upon, but actually peace. And Charlie Kirk, from what I knew about him and all the videos I've seen about him, I've never once seen Charlie Kirk call anyone on the right or left to take up arms against each other. He wanted to have honest dialogue. And so I too agree with one of the speakers who indicated that we need to make sure that we don't cherry pick things here and there, because some of us in this room that are against the Second Amendment, if I were to go back, I could use AI, cherry pick information to make you the strongest supporter of the Second Amendment, even stronger than Donald Trump. So again, comments that are taken out of context are pretext, and we need to be careful to do that, to not do that, to take people's comments out of their true context. So I have no problem supporting this. I think we need to actually turn the temperature down. I've been saying that over and over again when it comes to our politics. We need to engage in dialogue, and there is nothing wrong with disagreeing with each other. But sometimes when we sit and listen to each other's perspective, we might engage in a new perspective ourselves, but we do need to spend more time listening to each other.
I'll let them go. I'll go last.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And I appreciate the speakers coming up to voice their opinion. I did get a couple of messages on my district email, and I think for me, we have to be in a space where we universally condemn political violence on both sides. And a couple of weeks ago, myself, Supervisor Magzig, Supervisor Bredefeld actually joined our friends over at City Hall with the mayor and council members, both folks from both sides of the political spectrum, to, one, condemn the violence that a lot of us saw, but two, actually open up the conversation. It's okay to agree to disagree. A lot of people will be surprised that Supervisor and Bredefeld are actually good friends, and we're both on opposite ends of the political spectrum, but it's in that space when you stop the conversation and you just have a preconceived notion of what a person is based on what a 30-second reel was or a clip that was pulled, And I don't think that's a healthy thing for our democracy. And so when we, talk about honoring Mr. Kirk, I never knew him, I never met him, but I know he encouraged political debate. And the fact that he was killed in a political debate forum where you're supposed to have differences and ideas and debates and arguments, but you do that with words, never with weapons. I think that was pretty commendable on his part. And so there's an old saying that you don't have to like the message, you can love the messenger. And I think we need to move closer to that as a country. Thank you.
Gary?
Yeah, I appreciate those words. And, things were taken out of context. One of the speakers said some deaths are justifiable in light of the Second Amendment. That was in relation to saying we don't get rid of cars when there's 50,000 deaths every year from cars, because we accept the fact that if you want to drive cars, there will be deaths. And so it is taken out of context. A lot of things he said are taken out of context. Today we're going to adjourn our board meeting in Charlie Kirk's honor. And I want to say a few words about him, words that I said at the Wednesday at Fresno State's Turning Point USA Vigil. Like millions of Americans, I'm still heartbroken and angry over the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This brilliant 31-year-old man went to college campuses to have open dialogue and debate with students that had opposing views to his conservative beliefs. That's what he did. He went there to debate. He courageously went into the lion's den of college academia to challenge what's often radical dogma being taught in universities and debated both students and professors alike. He openly spoke of his faith, his love of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, his traditional values. He openly encouraged people to get married, to have children, to start families. He spoke of the need to protect the unborn and to protect confused children from the evil of gender-affirming care and genital mutilation. He spoke of the greatness and exceptionalism of America, our Constitution, our God-given rights to live in freedom, to have free expression of thought and speech. He spoke of the need for law and order, the need for secure borders, and he opposed all the woke ideology that only serves to divide Americans and our nation. He was bold, he was unapologetic, and most importantly, he was effective. He was changing hearts and minds all across the country. He was speaking the truth, and he was hated for it. George Orwell said it best, and I quote, "The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it," end quote. And he spoke it. Charlie's assassination is the direct result of an effort to demonize and dehumanize conservatives in particular and normalize hatred toward people of faith and traditional values. For years, extremists and their allies in the media, and there are many in the media that have worked to silence, slander, and intimidate voices like Charlie's. They've called conservatives deplorables, racists, white supremacists, fascists, Nazis, and a threat to democracy. I've been called all of those things. 2 weeks ago, that rhetoric turned deadly. This cannot be ignored, excused, or downplayed. Political violence is evil, and when it's tolerated or justified against conservatives or liberals or any other political group, it becomes a direct threat to every American's freedom. 2 weeks ago, Charlie's voice was silent, and now he's in heaven. But millions of voices have now risen that share Charlie's passion, his vision, his values, and love of this nation. We saw that this weekend. Millions upon millions of people now are speaking out. The horror we witnessed 2 weeks ago will not cower those of us that share his beliefs, but only serves to embolden us. We will continue to speak with great conviction, stand firmer, and defend the truth Charlie dedicated his life to advancing. We will speak about the greatness of our nation, our Constitution, and oppose the notion that America is a systemically racist nation. It is not. In fact, this is a nation where no matter what sex, race, religion, or socioeconomic status you come from, through your own hard work and God-given talents, you can achieve the American dream and much more. We will speak with the truth with conviction, integrity, and be bold in our support of our faith, traditional values, law and order, defend the unborn, and protect our children and our families. We will proudly proclaim our love for this nation, the greatest on the face of the earth. And we will never back down. Not now, not ever. Not in the threat of a gun or facing a gun. May God comfort Charlie Kirk's wife, his 2 small children, and his family. May he also strengthen all of us, our nation, and guide us as we grieve and work through this senseless and tragic event. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Thank you for what you did for this nation. We've got it from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything, Brian? No. I think to say anything else, more is just more. So I think it was all said very well. And I do appreciate Luis's comments and my other colleagues very much. So I'm going to bring it back to the board. Okay. Second. All in favor, so I'm saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you.
We now move to item 36, under behavior health, I'm sorry, not item 36, item 37, under behavior health, due to Supervisor Magsig is recusing himself due to the Levine Act. Approve and authorize the chairman to execute an agreement with RH Community Builders for the provision of housing supportive services to individuals with serious mental illnesses living in Fresno County.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman, Supervisors. I'm Susan Holt, your Behavioral Health Director. Happy to answer any questions on this item before you for supportive services contract with RH Community Builders.
Okay, any questions? Is there any public comment on this? Bring it back to the board. Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, so we're saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. Thank you.
If I could take it out of order due to Supervisor Magsig stepping out, rather than taking 43, if it's okay to take 46, because he's also recusing himself from that item as well.
So
item 46.
Can
I have a point of order on 49? I just want to address the Levine Act. I want to get it on the record. I received a check from the Chamber of Commerce. They have the president of the Chamber of Commerce on 49. I don't believe that's a violation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so I will be here for 49.
Okay.
Item 46, under public health, approve and authorize chairman to execute amendment number 1 to agreement numbers 23-020 with St. Agnes Medical Center for rural mobile health program services.
Good morning. I'm Chair and fellow board members. Joe Prado, Interim Director for Fresno County Department of Public Health. This item is an amendment to, it's a continuation of rural mobile health services and available for any questions you may have.
Okay, is there any public comment on this item, 46? Bring it back to the board.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried.
Would you like me to take 49 and, okay, item 49, Supervisor Pacheco and Magsig recusing themselves from this item. This is under social services, under administrative policy number 34 for competitive bids or requests for proposals. Determine that an exception to the competitive bidding requirement under AP 34 is satisfied and a suspension of competition is warranted in the best interest of the county would be served by entering into an agreement with the Economic Development Corporation serving Fresno County.
Morning, Chairman, members of the board. Sonia Bugay, Department of Social Services, available for any question on this agreement.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, is there any public comment on item 49? Hearing none. Got a motion? Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
And that was Supervisor Chavez who made the second?
I made the motion.
Oh, you made the motion,
Yeah.
you made the second, sorry. I can't hear as well.
It's all right. I can't either with that jet going on.
We take up item 43, which was pulled by Supervisor Bredefield, under probation, approve and authorize the chairman to execute an agreement with Community Justice Center for restorative justice mediation services of youth offenders within the juvenile justice system.
Good morning, Chairman Mendez, and to the board. I'm Kirk Haynes, your Chief Probation Officer. We're here today to ask for the board to execute an agreement with the Community Justice Center for restorative justice mediation services for youthful offenders within the juvenile justice system, effective October 1st, 2025. There's no net county costs associated, as the costs are recommended are fully funded by youth offender block grants. The approval of the recommended action will allow the probation department to continue to offer restorative justice and mediation services for youthful offenders and their victims of crime through the Community Justice Center. Just to give you a little bit of background on CJC, CJC's restorative justice mediation fosters direct communication between victims and the responsible youthful offender for dialogue, negotiation, and problem solving. Responsible parties take direct accountability for their behavior and learn about the full impact of their actions and develop plans for how they will make amends with their harmed victims. CJC provides all the necessary arrangements for restorative justice mediation. CJC selects the appropriate certified mediator for the case who contacts the victim and also the responsible youth and their families to determine participation in the restorative justice mediation program. The program participates is through informed consent and completely on a voluntary basis. CJC ensures that parties are suitable for the mediation and secure a surrogate victim if it's appropriate to do so. I also want to make a point that youthful offenders that are detained at the juvenile justice campus are also referred for family maintenance by the court for CJC's services. With that, I'm available for any questions.
Did you want to go? Actually, you go first. I have a second. Okay. Yeah, so I pulled the item because I inherently have some difficulty, which I shared with Mr. Haynes, about restorative justice. I mean, they have restorative justice at Fresno Unified. I question the utility of using that and its effectiveness. I've looked at research on restorative justice. It's a mixed bag. And as we talked, you said sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I just have concerns about the process. I went and looked up Community Justice Center. Their website was down, so I couldn't look up anything about them. And so for me, I'm not going to be able to support this today, but I would be interested if there's any data that you can provide this board, any summary of what they're doing, how many cases they have, what's effective, what hasn't been effective. I'd like to know that. I spoke with my colleague, Supervisor Magzik, and he shared with me an instance where he knows that restorative justice was effective and did work. So I'm open to that. But inherently, I have an issue with making sure there's accountability when crimes are committed and not re-victimize victims in this restorative process. I know that goes on in schools, and I think it's a problem in schools. It may be a little different with older folks. It may be different with this Community Justice Center. But again, I couldn't review any of their statements because their website was down as of the other day. So that's my difficulty. I'm open to hear anything, but I would like to get something from you or them that proves that what they're doing really is effective. And I'd like to know the blemishes as well in terms of, like you said, in some instances it doesn't work. There are people who commit crimes who say, yeah, I'd like to rectify things with a victim, and that serves their purposes of trying to minimize their sentencing or the accountability that they should be held to. I think that has to be a factor in looking at people who want to participate in restorative justice. I know for victims, you say that it's all voluntary, but I still wonder if they're not being re-victimized again. So these are the concerns and questions I have. I'd like to see something in writing that documents any data that you have that says, yeah, this proves to be very effective. And the what is it, $700-something thousand we're looking to spend is worth it.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Supervisor Bredefield. Can I just respond real quick to that?
Absolutely, please.
So just to give you a little bit of data, this is the second contract that we're working with CJC on. And to give you an idea, in the first contract from July 1st, 2020 to April 30th of 2025, 493 youth were referred to the CJC for mediation. 309 actually participated and fully completed the program. With including all victims and the youth that were in the program, 1,545 individuals were served during that time, if we include all parties in that process. And I can certainly get some information back to you from CJC. In fact, I have the executive director here, Sherry Wiedenhofer, who's available if you want to ask her any questions. But one thing that I would just like to keep in mind, especially in light of the prior conversation that we had with Mr. Kirk's wife, and she, very, I think, eloquently, letting all of us know that she forgave him forgave the shooter for what he did. And I'm not saying this situation is similar, but the opportunity for victims and for offenders to be able to come together, it's a unique opportunity for us. And I'm not sure what they do at Fresno Unified. I know what we do at the probation department, where we see opportunities for our young people to be able to hear directly from victims about how they impacted their lives. And what our probation department stands on is, of course, accountability, but we also pair that with the opportunity for them to be able to grow and for them to be able to walk away from their relationship with the probation department and having the tools to be able to not commit another crime. Last thing I'll say is that in California, we've talked about this, victims and their voices are virtually silent when we think about the kind of legislative process that goes through, the kind of bills that are brought to bear in light of offenders compared to victims. A program like this and the opportunity for us to be able to invest in a program like this absolutely gives victims their opportunity to be able to engage in this system where a lot of times they're shut out. So I'll just say that.
Let me just respond. First of all, I have a lot of faith in you, and that's why I'm open to hearing exactly how that works.
Sure.
When you say it, when we spoke the other day, and you said you've seen where it doesn't work, what are those circumstances where you see it doesn't?
I think where we've seen where victims who wanted to participate in the program and youth were not ready. I mean, there's sometimes youth, even though they have volunteered for the program, and if they're not ready or mature enough to be able to, get through the program, we've had those kind of things that have happened. I mean, they're youth and they're sometimes unpredictable. I've got unpredictable teenagers and grandkids and those kind of things as well. So yes, sometimes there are times when the process doesn't work when the way that we would like for it to. But that's not the norm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
So a couple things. I actually went to school and got my bachelor's in criminology, victimology, victim service certificate, and I used to participate in VORP, Victim Offender Reconciliation Program. So a couple things I want to share, then I'm going to speak anecdotally, but also from personal experience. So when I was part of the VORP program, actually getting to sit down with youth who are facing the victims that they victimized, and again, completely voluntary program, there's an opportunity for healing there. And to your point, it doesn't always work, but there is a very high success rate because many times offenders, when they are committing crimes, and a lot of these were property crimes, they don't think of a victim in that case. All they see is something that they want, something they want to vandalize in the moment. But when they sit down and see a victim who maybe they had something was destroyed of high value to this victim, and they get to see how that impacted them, there's an emotional connection and change takes place. For me, when I was building housing in Madera 20 years ago, there were a group of teenagers that vandalized one of my projects, and the Madera Police Department caught them. And during that process, I was reached out to. I absolutely wanted to press charges. And during the court proceeding, I was allowed to be there, and the judge asked me, Mr. Magsig, what do you want? I said, well, I want restitution, but I also want this offender to actually meet my board because the homes they destroyed are going to impact low-income families. And so out of that, this individual who had committed this crime one time, I wanted them to connect with my board. They had to come to a board meeting. And then I wanted this individual came from a single mother, and she had to pay restitution, which was going to be very difficult for her because she was poor. And she was so disappointed in her son. Out of that, ultimately, after a couple of months, our organization forgave everything, but it was the lesson that was taught. It was that emotional connection where this student had to come and speak to our board. So when I look at restorative justice, this isn't for juveniles who've committed murder. Typically, it's juveniles that are early in their criminal process, so to speak, property crimes, low-level offenses. But if you're able to touch their hearts, many times it keeps them from committing further offenses into the future. That's why I'm very supportive of this.
Is that accurate, that there's a certain crime where they don't get to participate in the restorative justice?
The court makes a determination as to which cases get referred to the program.
Okay, and it wouldn't be homicide cases like that?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Supervisor Barrett, let me see if I can kind of help because you referenced the Fresno Unified. I was actually the school board member that took the lead when we implemented this, myself and the late trustee Janet Ryan. We both teamed up on this. So one of the reasons why I was supportive at the time was because, as Chief mentioned, it's not just focused on the consequence piece, which is important. We all know that that's a key part of helping reduce that. But it goes deeper where it actually addresses the root issues. And I'll just reference a couple of stats with the foster youth that we work with. You know, a lot of these young folks have had trauma, abuse, history of that. And I think when we implemented it at Fresno Unified, it went deep into the root cause of those problems to address them. And there were reductions in those stats on foster youth not being suspended or expelled, not because they were turning a blind eye, but because the data showed that they were actually being more productive, more focused. And so I commend the chief for really taking that to our folks, you know, across the county, because I think it is effective. And it's not just this departure from consequences. And to answer your question more specifically, there were incidents where this was just not an option. A couple of ones were if a student brought a gun to school or there was some type of a threat made in a violent way. Those were not issues that were utilized. They still had that zero tolerance for those types. But as Supervisor Maggs mentioned, the issues with behavioral and even fights and some of those concerns, I think, are very effective. The end result is the data that the chief just mentioned on there. So hopefully that helps kind of paint a better context of what this could be.
Okay. Is there any public comment on 43?
I just want to briefly thank you guys for sharing your experience. I am very excited that that this has been going on. I know that for years, I mean, they've been doing this for decades, but I know that in years, like living and working in Reedley and other places, seeing how the presentations 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you know, and now about the effectiveness that this has had in communities, the stories, the opportunities for that this has for the community, and you know, the things that Fresno Pacific has been able to do in this and other things. So thank you for sharing your experience, and I'm glad I very much support the continued work of this because of the sustainable change that this creates. Sorry, I wasn't prepared because I didn't know it was going to be pulled, but I just wanted to, but having a long history and knowing about and seeing it in action in various communities, I want to support this.
Okay. Good morning, Bruce.
My name is Bruce Kinnebrew. It's rare that I'd speak on something like this, but I really support this in the sense of this. I've been a teacher. I have personally sat in the restorative justice situation on numerous occasions. I've only had and seen some incredible success because of it. One of the things that I would caution, however, in one sense, it's not just the process, but the people who are involved in the process that are a very important part of this. Because if you allow teachers or others that speak into their lives to do what they would do best, to show the love, bring them back to where they are, I believe you create some incredible future leaders. And I've worked in the rehab world. I've lived as a senior counselor in those arena. I meet with guys every Tuesday night who have been through the process, but I think an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I'd support this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, Chief, can you get me that data?
Yes.
And
I'll
more
work directly.
information?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'll work directly with CJC. They'll have data that we'll be able to have shared with you.
And I want to say, I have great faith in you, and I respect my colleagues. I appreciate their point of view. And rather than vote no and get the data, I'm going to support you and vote yes and get the data. And you prove to me that this is the right course to go so that I can continue to support this. But I will support my colleagues today.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
All in favor, go saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried.
I didn't catch who the motion maker was. They spoke so soft.
Please.
Okay. Thank you.
And I second.
Yeah.
I got the second. I can't hear Supervisor Chavez. He's testing me. That concludes all consent items pulled from this morning. We now return to your regular agenda. Item number 6, under Chairman Mendez, Supervisor Magsic, Sheriff, Coroner, Public Administrator, and Public Health, conduct first hearing to amend Fresno County Ordinance Code Title 9 to add Chapter 9.11, Keeping of Roosters, waive reading of the ordinance in its entirety, and set the second hearing for October 7, 2025. Conduct first hearing to amend the Master Schedule of Fees, Charges, Recover Costs Ordinance by amending Section 900, Environmental Health, subsection 905, waive reading of the ordinance in its entirety, and set the second hearing for October 7, 2025. Designate county council to prepare fair and adequate summaries of the proposed ordinances and direct the clerk of the board to post and publish the required summaries in accordance with Government Code Section 25124B1.
Okay, I just want to, Savag's going to present this, and I just want to say in just a short time, Savag has made a significant contribution by drafting 2 critical administrative policies, AB 80 and AP 81. Along with these, Savag has developed the Associate Management Directive, which clearly outlines the implementation process for these policies. Most recently, Savag drafted the ordinance for the roosters, which we're doing right now, associated ordinance for the Mass Schedule of Fees, which is also on the agenda today. His dedication and hard work are truly commendable, and he's just getting started. Me and Brian got to work with him many years ago, and he's proven that he's a very intelligent guy every day.
Thank you for those kind words. Thank you for those kind words, Mr. Chairman, but it's a team effort, and so I have nothing but respect to the CAO and the team at the CAO's office, including all of the staff. So the item before you is an ordinance regarding roosters. Supervisor Magsic, did you want to take the lead and then I can jump in?
Sure. If
No,
Chairman, are you
go
okay?
ahead, yeah.
So back in 2019, I think my office was first contacted about issues in Fresno County with a number of different roosters. Through attending some of these different properties, listening to the issues, speaking to the Ag Commissioner's office, who really identified roosters not falling under their purview, and then reaching out to the Sheriff's office, became apparent. Unfortunately, it took 6 years to get to where we are today, but became apparent that we needed an ordinance to deal with limiting the number of roosters. So there are a handful of sites throughout the county, not just isolated in my district or Buddy's district, but all of our districts, where in some cases law enforcement will come upon a property where it appears that there are a number of different roosters where their wattles have been cut off. A lot of these roosters are tied up, and it doesn't look like there's any agricultural reason for those roosters. And sometimes it's difficult to connect the dots for law enforcement to directly point to the fact that those roosters are being bred and raised for fighting, because that is not happening in front of them. But this ordinance is working today to really restrict the number of roosters. I believe on some properties in the county, you can have as many as 500 roosters. And if you haven't had an opportunity to even be next to 15 or 20, roosters are incredibly noisy. And there's nothing wrong with that per se if you have a farming operation. But if you're raising these things for fighting or for other nefarious purposes, this ordinance is working to really try to get to the heart of that particular issue. So with that, I wanted to thank Savag as well as the Sheriff's Department and CAO's office. We've worked together for several months because doing these ordinances is not easy. You need to research it, make sure they're defensible. I want to thank County Counsel's office too, who's been involved, and I'll hand it back over to Savag.
Again, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. CAO, Mr. County Counsel, Madam Clerk. Item before you, like Supervisor Magsic said, is a ordinance dealing with roosters. Supervisor, you are correct. Currently, zoning allows certain zones to have up to 500 birds, and so roosters are tied into that as the current ordinance. The ordinance before you limits the number of roosters per property to 10. There's also a permitting process where folks can go through the Public Health Department, and Mr. Prado and Mr. Dillon are here as well and can speak on that, to get from 11 to 24 roosters. And then there are some exceptions built in for 4-H, Future Farmers of America, and certain organizations that deal with ag-related matters. There is some state legislation pending on this matter, but the state does not prevent cities or counties from adopting or enforcing their own ordinances. And I'd like to just say thank you to the county family for coming together quickly to make this happen. Ms. Madden at the county counsel's office, thank you. Public Health, Mr. Prado, Mr. Dillon, Auditor, Controller, the Board Agenda Review Team, and Special Accounting, Sheriff's Office, who I had a question regarding this, and Lieutenant Alexander, who's here, was up fighting the but he still answered the question. Captain Hamilton is here as well. Code Enforcement, Clerk to the Board, your team was great, and Deputy CAO Sam Buck, who made sure our timing is right. So with that, any questions the board has?
Any questions?
Question, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Thank you for that presentation. I'm looking at the fee schedule. So it's $240 per year, and that allows you to keep anywhere from 11 to 24 roosters. And then there's a one-time application fee of $440. This is obviously just in county jurisdictions, correct? Because cities have their own.
That is correct. And at this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Dillon or Mr. Prado, who can speak to the master schedule of fees. Their team did a great job putting that together.
As he's walking up, and I understand that, the problem that Supervisor Magson mentioned with regards to, illegal rooster cockfighting and things of that sort. What would be the other purpose for somebody needing 11 to 24 roosters on their property?
So,
curious.
good morning. Oh, sorry, my apologies. Good morning, Board. So I'll answer the first question in regards to the non-refundable application. So that $440 amount that you see before you is the application fee. So that's the initial assessment fee that individuals applying for 11 to 24 roosters would file with the Department of Public Health. If they're granted the permit, then furthermore, they'll have that $240 per year fee. But the reason for the $440 is that's administrative fees associated with it, including staff time to actually go out and visit the property. And they'll do a thorough assessment on how many birds. They'll look at the water sources, the containment units. So there's a pretty thorough process when the formal application fee is applied.
That's part of the inspection. And here's what I'm getting at. I'm sure we'll have calls of the nuisance call of roosters and, and going in a neighbor's property. Code enforcement would be the one that would go out and address this issue, or who would do that?
So in this ordinance, we have 3 jurisdictional authorities that have jurisdiction to address this. One is Sheriff's Office. If the Sheriff's Office is the first reporting party, they actually have jurisdiction over it. Number 2 is Code Enforcement. If Code Enforcement is called to the property, whether it's a violation or some sort of code offense, they have the jurisdictional authority to also cite. And then in addition to that, Animal Control. Our Animal Control Services provider, Fresno Humane, most likely would be the first reporting party outside of any rooster fighting or cockfighting. In that case, most likely it's Sheriff's Office is the first reporting authority. Otherwise, the oversight for this is probably going to be through our Fresno Animal Humane Services.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. And what would be the penalty for folks that you go out and you visit the site and then they don't have a permit? And I mean, obviously I don't know if we're going to do a warning, or is it just a fine right away?
So initially, it's warning based. Fresno Humane, when they go out to properties, they really try to work with owners. Initial, it could just be a verbal warning. It could be a notice of violation as well. But if the person is really being negligent about what they're doing on the property, or we've received multiple calls, similar to the ones Supervisor Magsig had mentioned, some of those properties we've done our due diligence. If they're not willing to permit their properties or get a permit, then we can escalate to the notice of violation, then furthermore, the fee structure outlined in the ordinance.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. And thank you to Supervisor Mendez and Magsic for bringing this forward.
Okay.
I think I have the first site already.
What's that? Any other comments from the board before I open it up for public comment? This is public comment on 6.
Hello.
I'm Isidro Chacon. I live across the street from the rooster population of a farm of from 1 to 300 roosters. And this has to come to a stop and move out. We are unhappy with this farm for at least over 5 years, and we have been living like this noise, and it's already caused a lot of health problems with my wife. And I just want to give you a little demonstration of what is the noise like. We can't have any more families or picnics or anybody visiting us because of this noise. It's so complicated to explain, but I'd like you to listen to these roosters. Here. This is what it's like to visit us and have a picnic or something. And it goes on and on from 3 in the morning till late at 9 o'clock in the morning, and all day long, just about what you hear now. And this has been going on for over 5 years. And there has to be some kind of ruling that these roosters got to go. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Riley. I'm actually from Houston, Texas. I came to surprise my parents. That's my dad. I came to surprise them. I just arrived on Saturday, and sorry, I'm nervous around people. You know, I didn't realize how bad the roosters were. You know, talking to my parents over the phone, I could hear them in the background. Just spending the night, you know, on my first night back, you know, visiting, I woke up to the sound at 1 o'clock in the morning to roosters, you know, crowing. My family and I are constantly camping. We love camping, like, you know, tent camping, going places. We go to Glen Rose, watch, you know, see the dinosaur tracks. We go to, you know, the sequoias. And, you know, when your family wants peace and quiet, you know, you go camping. Coming to my parents' house, I was expecting, you know, some peace and quiet, some relaxation. I got 3 kids that I'm away from that I'm like, yes, mommy vacation. No, I came home to roosters crowing at 1 o'clock all night long. I've actually only had like 3 hours of sleep. Just because it's so nice outside, I want to enjoy the fresh air, but not the sound of roosters. It's like ridiculous. And if you guys ever have a time to come visit my parents at the property, you know, come out and listen to it for yourself, because it's ridiculous, like beyond ridiculous. So that's it.
Good morning. Thank you, Supervisor Magsig, for your leadership on this issue. On Christmas night 2019, the peaceful quiet of my rural home was shattered by the crowing of roosters being moved in across the street. Morning light revealed 65 roosters sitting on top of plywood teepees in what had formerly been a vacant lawn. The roosters had their combs and wattles removed and were held in place by tethers. It was, without mistake, a fighting rooster farm. In the nearly 6 years since that night, my home has been subject to a ceaseless onslaught of shrieking roosters, whose number has greatly increased to nearly 1,000 now. The constant noise, which continues from well before dawn to well after sunset and then sporadically throughout the night, is simply unbearable. The neighborhood has been ruined, and my home's value has gone to zero. Sadly, these are the least of my problems. Rooster fighting is cruel and is illegal in California. Raising fighting roosters, however, is not. The result is that illegal underground fights continue, creating an ongoing problem for law enforcement, sucking up resources that could be used elsewhere. Worse still, the fights attract all manner of criminality, ranging from drug sales to weapon sales to prostitution. The fights function as large networking events where the criminally minded conceive and plan other crimes as well. Counties and municipalities throughout the state have recognized this problem and have been moving aggressively to remove farms like the one across the street from me with sensible rooster ordinances. As of now, Fresno is one of only 2 counties in California that has not passed one of these ordinances. Thus, Fresno County has become a go-to destination for rooster farms leaving other areas. I strongly encourage Fresno County to correct this by passing an ordinance of its own. The draft ordinance currently being considered is good, but needs 2 improvements. First, the ordinance prohibits tethering, a classic fighting rooster raising technique, quote, within the enclosure, end quote. This language is ambiguous and unclear, leaving the definition of enclosure up to interpretation and perhaps litigation. Many other rooster ordinances simply ban tethering outright, without modifiers, and Fresno should as well. Let the sentence read simply, quote, "Tethering is prohibited," end quote. 2, the current limitation of 10 roosters is double the number most other ordinances allow and seems overly generous. I recommend reducing the number to 5 to keep these fighting populations low. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say, being a rural person, 2 or 3 roosters are annoying. A lot of roosters are unbearable. So I'll bring it back to the board. And anything else?
Just a couple comments. So are we able to make some modifications today, or should we bring that back later? I don't want to do anything that's going to delay us moving forward and getting this implemented within 30 days.
This is the first reading, so you may make changes now.
All right. So I have no issue. And to the farmers, do you think on a farmland they need more than, if we restrict it from 10 that you're allowed to have on ag land down to 5, do you think that's an issue? You can still apply for a permit to have up to, I think, he's 25 or 24?
11 to 24, but if you adjust the number, then we would adjust the permitting requirement.
So looking to my ag friends, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think it depends who has to live by them. That's really what it's all about. And if you're on a 2.5 acre parcel and your neighbor's on a 2.5 acre parcel, he's got 20 roosters, you're going to hear them.
Oh, I agree. So I'm supportive.
Right.
I think it would be okay to lower the number as long as we maintain the exemption for the 4-H and the FFA, because those are youth projects and you need more than 5 birds when you have those kind of projects, because you have attrition and different things, which they're not all roosters per se, but I'm okay with lowering it as long as we maintain the exemptions for the FFA and 4-H.
Then I will make a motion, but modify the ordinance slightly to limit the number of birds to 5 that are allowed. And then 2, when it comes to tethering, there shouldn't be any reason for tethering at all. So I'm okay using the language that you cannot tether your roosters, whether it's in an enclosure or not. So with that, I'll make those 2 modifications that the last speaker brought up, and that's my motion.
Okay, I'll second it. Call the question. All in favor, somebody saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We now move to item number 7 under District Attorney. Adopt resolution to fill a Deputy District Attorney position with extra help retiree Esmeralda Garcia, effective September 29, 2025.
Good morning.
Morning. I didn't even recognize you sitting over there.
Just quiet, listening to about the roosters. Good morning, Chairman Mendez and board members and staff. My name is Tracy Fritzler. I'm one of the Assistant District Attorneys for the Fresno County District Attorney's Office. I am here regarding the resolution to fill Deputy District Attorney position with extra help retiree Esmeralda Garcia, and I'm available for any questions you might have regarding our resolution or our request.
Any questions from the board? It's very routine. It happens all the time.
I know. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
I was told that, so.
Is there any public comment on this item? Hearing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Motion. Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Tracy, I got one question. Now that you're in the new building, they don't have to work in a closet like they used to?
In the what, the closet?
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been at all the buildings because I've been here for a long time. So
Yeah.
my favorite is when we were at the juvenile facility.
Yeah.
On Kings Canyon and Cedar. It was great.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you for the building.
We now move to item number 8 under Sheriff Coroner Public Administrator. Conduct first hearing to amend the Fresno County Master Schedule fees, charges, recover costs ordinance by amending subsection 2605, gun permits of section 2600, Sheriff Coroner Public Administrator. Waive reading of the ordinance in its entirety and set second hearing for October 21st, 2025. Designate County Council to prepare a fair and adequate summary of the proposed ordinance and direct the clerk of the board to post and publish the required summary in accordance with Government Code Section 25124B1.
Okay.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Chris Torres. I'm the captain in charge of the Sheriff's Operations Support Bureau, which oversees concealed weapons permits. Our recommendation here is to increase the fees regarding permits and renewals. I'm here to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions from the board? Hearing none, is there any public comment on item 8? Hearing none,
Move for approval.
got a motion and a second. All in favor, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
As mentioned earlier, item 9 is continued to October 21st. We now move to item number 10, conduct first hearing of an omnibus ordinance to amend chapters 1.13, 1.14, 1.16, 8.22, 0.44, 1.45, 15.04, and 15.32 of the ordinance codes of Fresno County. Waive reading of the ordinance in its entirety and set the second hearing for October 7th, 2025. Designate county council to prepare a fair and adequate summary of the proposed ordinance and direct the clerk of the board to post and publish the required summary in accordance with Government Code Section 25124B1.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Ed Hill, your Chief Operating Officer. Today, we are here to ask your board to conduct the first hearing to amend the chapters identified in the clerk's reading of the item. These amendments will authorize the county administrative officer to administer enforcement and enforcement of the administrative citation and administrative abatement, as well as add enforcement of illegal dumping, abandoned and prohibited vehicles, substandard housing, and dangerous building ordinances to code enforcement. The requested amendments are secondary to the shift of environmental health, code enforcement under the CAO's office. It will also help them streamline processes as well as decrease their timelines and abatements. I'd also like to thank the Sheriff's Office, Public Health, Public Works and Planning, and County Council in helping us prepare these items. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Go ahead.
Fully supportive of this, but one request I'd like to make, because I know code enforcement is now moved under the CAO's office. On our computer systems, when you go online and you take a look, it's still showing that Public Works is who they report to. So can we get that corrected? I would like to see that corrected as soon as possible. Thank you.
We'll take care of that.
Any other questions? Any public comment on this item? Item 11? Or 10, I mean. Got a motion? Second? Okay, all in favor, so we're saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried.
We now move to item number 11 under Information Technology Services. Conduct first hearing to amend the Fresno County Ordinance Code Title II, Administration, Chapters 2.03, Information Technology Services Department, and 2.11, General Services Department. Waive reading of the ordinance, proposed ordinances in their entirety, and set the second hearing for October 7, 2025. Conduct first hearing to amend the Master Schedule of Fees, Charges, and Recover Costs, Section 4300, Information Technology Services. Waive reading of the proposed ordinance in its entirety, and set the second hearing for October 7, 2025. Designate County Council to prepare and fair and adequate summaries of the proposed ordinances and direct clerk of the board to post and publish the required summaries in accordance with California Government Code Section 25124B1.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I'm Mike Kerr, the Director of Information Technology Services and the county's Chief Information Officer. The item in front of you is related to the splitting of ISD into ITSD and GSD. Originally, the graphics department was put under GSD. That needs to be corrected to be put under ITSD. And the other part of this is the approval of the master schedule of fees. These are the fees that ITSD charges to external customers so that we can recover the cost of our services. Is there any, here to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions from the board? Is there any public comment on 11? Hearing none.
Move for staff recommendation.
Okay. You second it? Second. Yeah. You get that, Bernice? Okay. All right. All in favor, saying aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, if you could give me a moment with staff, I think there's something we need to revisit. If you could just give me a moment.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, staff has brought to my attention that we'll need to open item 6 back up for clarification and to address a gap that we did not address during the meeting. So with your permission, if I could get a motion and with county
Somebody will
council.
make that motion.
I'll make a motion to open that item 6 back up.
You second it, Luis? Okay.
Thank you.
You got that, Luis seconded it.
Good morning again, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Mr. CAO, Mr. County Council, Madam Clerk. So, point of clarity, I apologize for bringing this back, but the board has moved the number of roosters from 10 to 5 and the permit from 11 to 24, which means there's a gap between 6 and 10. So we're seeking board direction on the permitting of the.
Yeah, understood. So I would say that the sixth rooster would require the permit. So 6 to 24 is still on the table. So I see what you're saying. So that I should have stated that, but that's part of my motion, and I'm happy to clarify that in the form of a motion after we make sure the public doesn't have any comments now that we've reopened this.
Yeah, is there any public more comment on this? Hearing none.
So
See what I said about this is a smart guy?
Well, again, sir, I can't take credit. The team out there was talking with public health and the sheriff's office, and we determined bringing it back would be appropriate.
So I'll move for staff's recommendation, and again, restate that the one correction from the last motion is that a permit will be required for individuals who want to have a more than 5, so the 6th rooster would require a permit up to 24.
Okay. I'll second it. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Okay.
Thank you, Savag, for catching that. We now move to item number 12, Board of Supervisors Committee reports and comments.
You got anything? You got anything? Okay.
So I want to thank our OES team, as well as Sheriff's Department, CAL FIRE, U.S. Forest Service, and all the different agencies that came together from across the United States to fight the Garnet Fire. While there still are hot spots out there on that fire, the threat that it was 2 weeks ago really has been diminished because of weather, but also because of the significant resources that have been placed on that fire. Dinky Creek campgrounds, as well as a number of other camps like Chawanakee, LON, Camp Fresno, campgrounds there at Washawn, also up at Courtright, all of those were protected. There's still significant work that's taking place along Dinky Creek Road and other areas in and around the fire to do fuel reduction projects. So again, appreciate all the men and women that came together to get that fire under control. And I believe currently that fire stands as the largest fire that burned this year. So we need to be doing more to manage our forests better. With that, just want to say thank you to all.
That's where we don't want to be number one.
Yeah, agreed.
Gary, you have anything?
Yeah, I just, again, want to express my sympathies to Sheriff McGarren's family. I've known him for a long time, always had nothing but respect, and he was somebody that I considered a very good friend. He offered me lots of advice many times. He was a tremendous law enforcement officer. He was a model for, I think, the way you do things right as an executive, and certainly as a sheriff and a leader in this community. He will be missed greatly, and I send my sympathies to his family.
Mr. Chairman, I would just add to that as well, too. It's been widely stated that the sheriff was a mentor to a lot of those in the sheriff's department, but he was a friend to many of us up here.
Yeah.
A man of great integrity, and like Supervisor Butterfield, I held him in high esteem and with the utmost respect. He was always positive and always would offer words of encouragement when we needed it the most. So my sympathies to the family as well.
Yeah, thank you. All I'm going to say on that, because you guys said it all, is that especially the command staff of the Sheriff's Department today is still our Steve McGarren people, still today. So, I mean, he was just so well respected. I just want to say one other thing that I read a lot of, because I'm on a lot of ground stabilization boards, I've been noticing in some of the writings now, and always get a kick out of some of this, that oil and gas production could cause subsidence. And I'm thinking, what? Most of the gas and oil that's, especially in the San Joaquin Valley, is between 5,000 and 15,000 feet. So I don't know how they can put together something that really is affected and probably 2,500 feet and above. So I just wanted to bring that out, that I always found it kind of amazing. So you move to 13?
Item number 13, boards, commissions, and committees.
Do you have any? One.
I have one, Mr. Chairman. On the Commission of the Status of Women, I'd like to appoint Ms. Nanaki Joal to the District 5 seat previously held by Pamela Freeman Fobbs, which expired on 7/1/2023.
Okay. Gary, you have any?
No, I don't, but I did want to mention also that I will be missing the COG meeting.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
On Thursday, and in my place will be Supervisor Luis Chavez.
Yeah. So what do we have to do to, I can just
You
name
can
him right
designate
now
him,
as
yes.
the temporary COG. Everybody likes these,
One and done.
yeah, late night meetings with a very unorganized group. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Gary. I appreciate it. You haven't anything? Brian, nothing? Okay, I have none also. So move to item 14.
Motion.
Oh, I need a motion?
I'll make a motion for that one appointment for approval.
In second. All in favor, so saying aye?
Aye.
I thought I was just going to make a decree.
We now move to item number 14, public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the board on any matter not on this agenda.
Yeah, not on the agenda. So this is public presentation for not on the agenda. Hearing none, I'm going to move off. In this place, you snooze, you lose.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm back. I wanted to discuss with you again the crisis that we're having in Fresno County and City of Fresno with the dumping. I'm just curious to know when the shelter's going to be open back up for strays. It's very heartbreaking going on my social media now. A lot of dogs dumped, hit by cars. It's just really heartbreaking. And I'm passionate for animals. And we can only do so much as volunteers. We can only take so many dogs in our homes. But that's really a concern that we have right now, the volunteers and the ones that we have the passion for these dogs. There's just too many. It seems like every day there's maybe 50 dumped, Fresno City and Fresno County, and the shelters are not accepting them. So where do these dogs go? End up putting back. And that's how they get the horrific deaths. Another thing that I wanted to ask to see if it would be possible to TNR some dogs, trap, neuter, and release back. We've had a few cases where there are some dogs that are not able to be domesticated because they're so feral. They are being fed, they are being taken care of by the volunteers, but Fresno Humane and Animal Center are refusing to fix them because they're feral. They said it's a liability issue, so I think that's something that needs to be considered in case of extreme cases where dogs are not being able to be trapped and domesticated for homes. They continue to have dogs out there. Coyotes are attacking them. They're being, again, killed by cars, killed by coyotes, eaten by coyotes. So it's something that I would like you guys to consider TNR for some dogs that are not being able to be domesticated. Another thing that I want to bring up is, I know I sent you guys emails about people that are getting penalized for feeding feral cats. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the feral cats, how they TNR, they trap them and return to where they were born. A lot of people are being threatened to be evicted if they continue to feed feral cats. They're being threatened with, fines from the apartments or the rental person. Even businesses are now starting to do not feed cats. And that's something that I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand if they don't know what a feral cat is. They have a home. They're not able to be domesticated, so they depend on us to care for them. Also, there's other people that are being abusive to feral cats. I did send you emails on that. I sent you pictures of that. And I also, another concern that was brought in by a homeless person is that they're being targeted, and they're calling it the killer hunger game. They're running over homeless people with their dogs. This guy came forward to one of our girls and asked for help for his dog because he got hit by the car. We're trying to find this homeless person again. He's supposed to go back to her home on Wednesday to ask him to make sure that he made a report on that. But it's just a lot of issues that are going in on the community that, I know it's not, but I would like to meet with you and see if we can work together on any of these issues.
All right.
Willing to
thank
volunteer
you.
our time on that. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sean. I came with Maria because I also go out and help feed and water stray dogs. I am at 8 dogs currently, and I've had as many as 10. One of the dogs that I recently took in, she was abandoned on a property. Apparently she had had a home, and the family didn't pay her any attention. She was dumped on a property, an abandoned house, and then there was a male dog there. 6 puppies were born. Another dog that I have in my care was dumped at the cemetery. She was wandering there for 3 to 4 weeks. She's now in my home. It's frustrating because every day we see on social media these dumped dogs, dogs that are neglected, abandoned, and there's only so much space that I have. And 8 dogs is a lot to care for. It's expensive to feed 8 dogs. Only with the help of the woman Karen from Westside Rescue was I able to get some of them fixed. Otherwise, it's been out of my own pocket. All of the vet care, the flea and tick treatment, the dewormer, the vaccines is hundreds of dollars. And those are for ones that are in my care. It's very overwhelming. It would be nice if there was a solution for all of these dumped animals. It's heartbreaking. It's stressful. I'm a teacher, so I already have enough stress. And then added to this, the animals that I see out there all the time. One of our friends texts us about, hey, can you guys help feed and water these dogs out here, especially when it was in the summer. And there were numerous dogs out. Some of them were run over. Some of the dogs that I have came from the county where the coyotes ate the siblings. People were shooting at them or they were being hit by cars. So it just would be nice if there was a solution for helping all of these animals, dogs and cats. So thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you. You'll be the last speaker. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Lorraine. I hadn't planned to speak, but I came here to support Maria and the group that she's with. They do an amazing job trying to help these stray dogs and cats. Every day when I go on my neighborhood site, people are finding animals, lost animals, trying to reconnect them with owners. They can't keep them because they have pets of their own. They can't take them to the shelters because they're not accepting them. We're a large city, and this should not be. There has to be an answer of some sort. These dogs out there are at risk for getting run over, starving, getting diseases, spreading diseases. If they get in groups, they start attacking. That's their animal's instinct if they have no food. And it's just a very dire situation, in my opinion, something that really should be addressed immediately because there has to be some kind of more fundings we can get to help the shelters, to open more shelters. I don't have the answer. But I just want to make my voice heard that, people go out for walks. I'm afraid to go out for a walk. If I find a dog, I'm going to have to bring it home. And I have 2 dogs of my own, and I have an elderly dog. But I'm not going to leave this poor animal out there to suffer. So it's a very frustrating situation, and I know you are probably all frustrated too. But I think, as a citizen, we need our voices heard. So that's what I'm here to do. So thank you for anything that you can do about it.
Thank you.
You may, at this time, open up for closed session.
Yeah, is there
public comment.
anybody that wants to speak about anything on closed session? Hearing none, County Council.
I would not expect any report outs following the closed session.
Okay, so we can adjourn
Following closed session.
following closed session. Somebody want to make that?
I'll move us adjourning following closed session.
Okay. Second.
Thank you.
All in favor, second by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried.